Well, guys, I'm unbelievably excited how we played the first half. I said that the one thing we have to start doing is moving the ball better and moving people better. And um, when you have 18 assists on 19, I've never heard of anything like that. It was mind-boggling. Even the 27 out of 30 is mind-boggling. And I thought the unselfishness and the way we defended pretty well. And then we did what teams do. And I'm going to try not to let it ruin a good day. But I was really disappointed in a couple guys. And second half just came out and, you know, didn't have the killer instinct to do what you got to do. And I give Arkansas Pine Bluff credit to their coach after the game. You know, these kids could have quit at halftime, and they didn't. I think we were so good at passing the ball for assists the first half that we actually did it, and we passed it to them for assists the second half. It was amazing. And, you know, we didn't rebound as well. We just didn't have the energy. I thought on a couple guys, I thought Costello might have played one of his best games, made free throws, did some good things. I thought Valentine actually played pretty well. He moved the ball well, and I thought Trice played pretty well. And after that, there were, you know, some moments of guys playing well, but you know, I don't know what I attribute it to, but that part was disappointing. But I'm going to try to enjoy a half a day here because we play in the afternoon. We haven't had many nights or days or minutes after games lately that you can enjoy. So I might try to enjoy the night and go out to eat or do something crazy and not think about the second half of the game. So questions?
Those of us that have covered you for any amount of time have watched you at that podium bemoan selfishness.
Yes.
For you to have such an unselfish team, setting aside the 18 assists, would you talk about what that means to you personally as a coach moving forward with the ceiling on this team?
I think you meant setting apart the 18 turnovers. But like I said, I think we shouldn't. I think if Matt Larson did his job, that at least half of those should go to us on the assist side. So maybe we only had 9 turnovers and we had 26 assists. And, you know, the unselfishness is incredible. And that's the way we need to play. And the funny part is BJ was a big part of that and then went to sleep. But I don't know. I'm proud of that. I'm just disappointed that guys don't. I told them the story of Scott Skiles, you know, that when you're a junior or senior, you have to have the mentality that every game, you know, might be your last here as a senior. So you got to try to do everything you can do and take the games that you should score more points, get more assists, and build. And because there's going to be games when you don't. And yet, I don't think that got through very good.
Can you give your assessment of where Gavin Schilling and Matt Costello are in your eyes? And is Gavin right now a little bit ahead of Matt? And he looks in the progress he's made.
Yeah, you know, I think in some ways, but you can't go 1 for 6 from the free throw line either. But I think realistically, those two guys have been the bright spot of my team so far. They've made mistakes. They've done some things. But if you look at how we're covering ball screens compared to how we did the first 2 games, if you look at how we're defending the post fairly well, they're scoring, they're rebounding. What were their totals today? 15 and what was Schilling? 15 and 7, so we're 22 and 10. If I thought we'd get, what are you doing back? They took you out of retirement or what? 22 and 10. That's incredible. You know, and we've been getting a consistent 15, 16, and 13. You know, it's not the same as AP, but there's some pluses too. You know, they're better on the ball screens than he was in different areas. So I'm pleased with the way those two guys have played. I think it was nice to see Trice bounce back. I think for some reason he was, you know, the bad shots he took in the last 2 games, he didn't take any today, and he just let the game come to him and, you know, shot well, played well, did a lot of good things in the minutes he played. So pleased with our centers, both of them. I don't know who's ahead of who right now. It started out, Costello was a little ahead of Schilling, and I thought Schilling was a little ahead of Costello, but one of the reasons I changed the lineup is because Matt seems to get 2 fouls to start every game. You know, he played 2 minutes in that Kansas game. So I just thought I'd keep him out early, and that's what I did. So it doesn't matter to either one of them. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just happy I'm getting production out of both of them. Well, yeah, you know, the problem with Brandon Dawson, I can call him out in public, is as dumb as this sounds, he's almost too unselfish. I mean, he took himself out of the game twice in the first half. And I'm ripping my assistants at halftime, why is Brandon out so much? And they ripped me. They said, well, he has to come out, you know. And he says, well, you know, other guys deserve a chance. I mean, he's got the ball in there, and he could be shooting some, and he's passing it. I mean, some of it I love, some of it I hate. You know, but most great players are too selfish. And right now he's been a little too unselfish. But I thought we got more out of it. I thought a big key, I don't know, you know, this is the problem with basketball. Like Travis Trice today moved the ball as well as anybody. He only had 3 assists, but if he was a hockey player, he'd have probably had 12, you know, the assist to the assist that those guys have. So he did a great job and moved the ball and just took shots that were there. And like I said, and saying all this, you got to give them some credit in the second half. They kept playing that zone, kept playing it hard, and we put some different guys in the middle. I'd say Marv had a little bit of a tough time, if none of you saw that. And that's the first time we put him there, so some of it is my fault.
Tom, held them to 31% shooting, a little under, and created 17 turnovers. Can you talk a little bit about the defense?
You know, the defense was pretty good for the game. It was very good in the first half, and it was kind of average the second half. And I don't know what the shooting percentage would have been, but we gave up quite a bit of open looks in the second half off of turnovers and things like that. So I'd say our solid defense, when it was half court, solid defense was pretty good. Our transition defense was pretty good. Our turnover defense wasn't very good because sometimes it can't be. You know, we turn it over and they're getting down with 3-on-1s or layups. But this team's got a long way to go, but you know, I'm walking upstairs with Matt, and he tells me about Purdue and Miami, and, you know, I know Michigan had a tough game, and I wish I had a wand to tell you why you can't get into a kid's head in games that you should win big. You don't as much, or you don't keep the pedal to the metal, or you don't stay focused. But Judd Heathcote had a famous line, boy. He said the worst time to be a basketball coach is right before finals or Christmas break, because everybody's thinking about, they're not thinking about finals. They just got to deal with them, and then thinking about Christmas and being home and all their buddies and just distractions, you know. And that's when the most upsets happen. And so I guess in that respect, we came out ready to play after a one-day prep, because we had to take Thursday off. So we went in a one-day prep, and so I'm really proud of our guys for that. I just didn't like the way we sustained, and that's been kind of an issue with this team. And the other thing is, you know, we're trying to play Alvin Ellis back. He's now nowhere near ready to play, and so he had 3 of those turnovers, and those aren't his fault. He's trying to suck it up on his ankle, and we're trying to figure out what's good to get him back. They said he can't hurt anymore, and we're trying to get him just a little bit of minutes, but he struggled to guard a little bit, and that's totally not his fault.
Was today a step backward for Bryn on the defensive progress?
You know, the first part of it was a step forward, and then, you know, I once had a coach that I asked about George Gervin, and I said, is he a very good defender? And he said, no, he's not. And Stan Albeck said to me, you know, his man's going to get 30 every night, but George is going to get 40, so we're 10 to the good. And I don't know if that's Brent's hero or what, but Brent's got to work on it. He's getting better. One thing I will say about Brent, he cares. I mean, he comes in, he talks to me about it, he cares, he watches film. He's got to be a little bit more grit, a little more focus, a little more intensity, a little more, he's just, you know, and I think the closer he gets to getting the hand stuff off and everything back and gets some practice, I think that'll help. I think he really struggled with it when he was playing with a cast, and I think it's carried over a little bit. But I wouldn't say he was awful. I just wouldn't say he's as good as we have to have him if we're going to be good. But we just don't have, again, many subs in that backcourt.
Coach, you mentioned Alvin Ellis a second ago. I was going to ask you, he made a couple of impact plays today with a block shot, a steal right in front of the bench. When Alvin is healthy, where do you see him at and contributing to the team this season?
Well, I see him playing, right now even 15, 18 minutes instead of, I don't know what he played today, but they were maybe 6 or 8, but they were a wounded 6 or 8. Alvin's a slasher. He's a cutter. He's gotten better with his shot. He's got some size. He can defend. He's a very intelligent player, very intelligent offensive player, too. He knows when to cut, when to go. But he's playing on it's not like we're worried about him hurting it anymore, even though he looks like he tweaked it a little bit earlier. But he just can't. There's no mobility, and they got it taped like a lot. It's very heavily taped, so he can't move much, but wants to play, and we're trying to get him some time. We wanted to see what he could do before he had this week off. We knew he had the week off, and we'll see now if he can really get that thing back to normal. But it's a high ankle sprain. Talking to somebody yesterday in the NBA, I think Rubio is out till January with the same kind of thing. So they're just miserable injuries that don't heal very well. And Alvin's tough enough. He's just injured.
Tom, you talked about Brandon Dawson a couple times. What were the factors in leaving him into the game so late in the game?
Keep trying to get the fire lit. It's like sitting in a fireplace, and keep slashing the match, and just trying to get the thing lit. And, and after he was out for those 3 games, his conditioning now is a factor, and so I'm trying to get that back. But in all honesty, I'm trying to help Brandon continue to play better. And, he played so much harder on Wednesday night. And if I had an answer, like I said, I just appreciate his unselfishness. I just don't appreciate the fact that he doesn't get it sometimes, and he's got to get it. So it's a problem.
Tom, you got a week off after this, and then a couple games, against this type of competition. How can you use the time? What are some of the biggest things you're going to focus on during that time?
Well, this is a tough week because you don't get a lot of time. We give them tomorrow off because a lot of kids got finals, they have tutors, they get all that, and then you try to find some days. Unfortunately, some years it seems like a lot of people are heading south, and all the finals are early. Some years they're Friday and Saturday. Thursday and Friday. This year we have a lot of finals on Thursday and Friday. We have some kids that are Monday and Tuesday where we're all over the map. So it's hard to find days where you can practice within that. What we know is we'll have a good practice on Friday, good practice on Saturday. We play Sunday. What we do in between will be kind of makeshift around their tests, and most of us will be on the road recruiting. So we'll balance the two in there. And one day we might have an early morning practice. 1 minute we might. And so it's not as conducive, It's another tough week on the players. Finals week is never any fun. It wasn't fun when I went to school. It's not any more fun. But I think it'll be good because these guys needed the break from that stretch we were on. And so now physically maybe they'll get the rest a little bit, although mentally they'll be taxed a little bit too. So we'll get a practice. We'll probably get one in Monday, maybe Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday. I'm hoping to get 3 or 4 in good practices. Maybe I'll get 5 average, 1 or 2 that are average, and maybe I won't. It just depends. I've seen most of the finals as of Friday. A couple of them weren't positive yet on when they were going to give them.
Tom, you talked about starting Gavin these last 3 games to help keep Matt out of foul trouble. But with these 3 games that you've started, Gavin, what has he given you, and what do you expect him to give
Gavin
you?
Schilling might have the quickest feet of anybody I have on my team. That includes Brandon Dawson. If you watch him come up on ball screens and that, he's got quick feet. He's a very good athlete, and he's strong and pretty tough, And he has worked his tail off in his shot. The other day I shot with him in the free throws, and he was just awesome. And so today he didn't shoot very well, but I think he's brought us a a little toughness defensively, a little more quickness. We can afford to even switch some with him that we can't do with Matt. So there's things we can do with one and can't do with the other. But Gavin has quick feet. I mean, quicker feet than AP, or, you know, I mean, he's got as quick of feet as you need to have to be a very good player. And he's playing well. I'm very happy with those two guys. I mean, moments, yes, but for the most part, very happy with them.
Lou Rosnaran gives you guys a change of pace on offense with his speed and driving kick, but do you think he's a little bit too reluctant on offense? Would you like to see him look for a shot more often?
Tom, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say right now he's struggling to find himself a little bit too. He makes some great plays. You know what? Tonight what he did is he had 3 turnovers, but 2 of them, you know, we take the ball out, they're pressing us, and everybody leaves them. You know, they weren't his fault. We had some different lineups in there, but for the most part, he hasn't turned it over much. But he does get 6 assists, and he guards very well. And not great offensively. He's a better free throw shooter than he shot today, but I think in general, it's, you know, he's got to look for his shot a little more. He's got a good-looking shot when you watch him. It's not broken. He just needs to get some reps and some confidence in it. But, you know, he's been averaging 17, 18, 19 minutes a game. He's doing a pretty good job with his assists. He's doing a phenomenal job with his defense. And, yeah, we got to get a little more out of him. But, you know, it's funny because what you start doing is you start looking for guys that don't have as much to give if the guys that do have as much to give aren't giving it. If, you know, when we have Costello or Schilling, and when we have Trice or Bryn, Valentine, and Dawson in there, that's enough offense. You know, one of those guys sometimes isn't there. And so then we look for Tom to do something that he can't do yet when other guys aren't doing what they can do. I doubt it, but I think he'll start practicing by then. I think by next week he'll start practicing. Trainer told me that he's on I guess he did it like 10 days to the day that Durant did his, same, almost identical surgery. So I think Durant started playing a few games a few days ago. So by next weekend, that would be almost the exact same period of time. You know, we'll get him practicing then. I'm hoping he'll play a couple times before he goes home, but we're definitely not, and we're going to err on the side of conservativeness since we have the Christmas break in there. Anything else?
Yeah. Real quick, just you know, you guys get into the line more today. How much of that was due to, you know, the ball kind of zipping around out there?
I think a
and opening
lot
things
because
up?
it's hard to get to the line as much when the team's playing zone. So that was I guess another area I didn't compliment my team on. I was at least more pleased with that. You know, I thought we did a better job of